friends, we're going to be talking about pages 851 to 859, and we're going to be looking at quadrilaterals. We talked about in the last set of pages, in the last video, that quad means four. So quadrilaterals are shapes with four sides. And so sometimes quadrilaterals have something called parallel sides. Parallel are lines that are equal distance apart the whole time. They are always spaced apart the same amount. And if parallel lines were to go on in any direction for forever, they would never touch each other. They would always be the same distance apart for the whole time. And so when we look at the shapes, we're going to be talking about how many sets of lines they have that are parallel. So here's a good example. Figure 1 here has parallel lines. These two are parallel. This top one and this bottom one are parallel. This left one and this right one are parallel. Same with here. This set is parallel and this set is parallel. So they have pairs of parallel sides, meaning that this one is parallel to this one, so that's one pair of parallel sides. And then this one is parallel to this one, so that's a second pair of parallel sides. Now these sides are diagonal, but they're still parallel. If this side went forever this way, and this side went forever this way, they are the same distance apart. And so they're parallel as well. So you're not going to measure with this unless you have a centimeter ruler. But basically they're trying to show you with these three shapes is that they have parallel sides, but they're also trying to show you their side length. So a perfect example to talk about the length of sides is the rectangle. You know the rectangle has two long sides and two short sides. So it has two pairs of sides that are the same length. But it also has four right angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Their angles on the corners make perfect squares. This figure makes perfect squares on the corners, and every single side is the same length. Sometimes we draw a dash through it to show that it's the same length as others. Now this one has the same length sides. This side equals this side equals this side equals this side, but none of the corners are right angles. If they don't have a red square in them, you can't be certain they're right angles. So these are skinnier than right angles over here and wider than right angles on the top and bottom. And so these are a rectangle, a rhombus, and a square. And they're going to ask you to label which figure is a rectangle, which figure is a rhombus, and which figure is a square. Now, what's interesting is that figure 2 is all of those shapes. Is a rectangle, a rhombus, and a square, because a rectangle is a square. It has four right angles. Well, that has four right angles. It has two pairs of matching sides. Well, this one does too. This side matches this side, and this side matches this side. So it's technically just a more specific rectangle by being all equal. And it's also a rhombus because a rhombus has four equal sides. And this one has four equal sides. It just doesn't have four right angles. So a square is just a way more specific shape than the other two. It does all the equal sides like this does. It does all right angles like this does. And it does all of those things and has equal sides. And so on the previous page, they talked about having parallel sides, like a parallelogram has parallel sides. This side is parallel, this side is parallel, that side is parallel. So both of opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides have same lengths. So like a rectangle, it has long and short sides. These are equal, and these are equal. And then the opposite angles are the same. So this angle is wide, and this angle is the same amount wide, and this angle is short and skinny, and that angle is short and skinny. Sometimes we call those obtuse and acute, but you'll learn more about that later. So what I want to show you is this last page before I let you go from this video. On this page, you're going to be looking at one shape, and you're going to be checking off with check marks how many things are true for that shape, so you can figure out what it is. So if this shape, opposite sides are equal length. Let me look at the opposite sides. This equals this, and this equals this. So yeah, these opposite sides are the same length, and these opposite sides. So both pairs equal, or are they all equal? I think they're all exactly the same. So I'm going to put them as all the same. So all four sides are the same. Because I think these two are the same, but these two are also the same. I think they're actually all the same as each other. Opposite sides are parallel. This side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. That's true. Both pairs are parallel. This pair is parallel, and this pair is parallel. These two are parallel to each other. Right angles. Does it have any of the red squares showing me that their angles are perfectly squared? No. These angles are obtuse, are bigger, and these angles on the sides are acute. None of them are right. So 0 of them are right angles. And so all four sides are the same length, and both sides are parallel. So this is a rhombus. A parallelogram, just like this shape, it's a parallelogram, but it's an even more specific parallelogram because it has 4 equal sides. So it is a rhombus. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to check off each attribute that these shapes have, and you're going to work back through all of the shapes and do a quick vocabulary check of shapes until you get to page 859.